So I can see that we have a guest surprise visitor, one of my dear friends for many, many years. His name is Rav Aaron Pessin, and he speaks Mamaloshin, including English and American, and also Hebrew, but I think it's best if he speaks English. And he is honoring us with his, let me turn off the share. 1 second, stop the share. He's honoring us here with his presence. And he's going to say a few words. Leilu Nishmas Yudis Bas Chaya Sarah, Barry and Joe's mother. This is Rav Aaron Pessin.
So the honor to participate is mine, to be a part of this Chavura Kadishta, this holy bunch, sitting and learning Michtav Meliyahu, and I'm sure that you go into other things as well. I just want to comment on what I just heard 2 minutes ago when I came in. If a person doesn't smoke on Shabbos, yes, he gets reward. We find it twice in Shas, in Kiddushin Lamed Tes Amud Beis, and again in Makos Chaf Gimel Amud Beis. The Gemara says that if somebody sits idle and doesn't sin, he gets sachar as a mitzvah. Kodesh Baruch Hu is so generous. He has so much to offer in him, Baruch Hashem. He gives us sachar even when we don't do a mitzvah. We just refrain from doing an aveda. So Barry Cohen, my dear friend, I call you my dear friend because any friend who's a friend of Simon is a dear friend of mine. And I understand your mother, Aliyah Hashalom, Yehudis Bas Chaya Sarah, today is her yotz, I'd say Yehi Rotzon. That her neshama should have an aliyah for the merit of the Torah that you sit and learn, for the merit of the persistence that you demonstrate, the hasmada in the Swinklish year, and for the merit of all the chesed that you, Barry, are, I understand, always involved in. I just want to share with you a quick thought for Parshat Bereshit that you can share in your Shabbos.
חשוב לציין שגם אח שלו ג'ו נמצא פה איתנו, ג'ו כהן על ידו, וזה גם אמא שלו.
So the pasuk Shlomo Melech already said, Tovim hashnayim min ha'echad, and both Barry and Joe, brothers.
I believe my sister's here as well.
Wow. So the pasuk
A.
continues. Tovim hashnayim min ha'echad, two are better than one, but the pasuk continues. Ve'achut ha'mishulash lo bimheira yinotek. When you have three, that's a very strong bond that cannot be severed. So when you have three holy brothers and sisters to a fantastic family, and you're all participating in Limud Torah, Le'ilui Nishmas, Yehudis Bas Bat Chaya Sarah, in fact, it should have an aliyah, and her neshama is going to ascend higher and higher in the upper worlds. I want to share with you a quick thought for Parshat Bereshit that you can share on your Shabbos table, and then something, maybe topical events. In Bereshit, Vav Pasuk Beis, towards the end of the Parsha, we find the Pasuk, Vayiru b'nei ha'Elohim es b'nos ha'Adam, ki toivosena. The pasuk says the divine beings saw how beautiful the daughters of men were and took wives from among those who pleased them. If we were to write this pasuk, I think grammatically we would change one word. When the pasuk says that they saw the ladies, that they were tovot, pleasing in their eyes, we would write tovot, tet, vav, bet, vav, taf, but the pasuk doesn't do that. The pasuk takes off the two vavs and it's ksiv chaser, it's missing. It says tevet. What's happening here? Before we answer that, I want to ask you, my friends, a question. You know that every month has its sign. What is the sign of the month of Elul? Do you know? Not everybody together. What is the sign of the month of Elul?
It's the scales, no? Maybe that's Tishrei.
Nope. The scale is Tishrei. The month of Elul's sign, maybe you know it as August, part of August, and part of July.
Ari Briggs is checking Google. 1 second. He'll give
you an answer. Ring a bell?
Leo.
The one right after that.
Sagittarius.
You're not close. You're drifting away. It's Virgo. It's Besula.
Oh, okay.
I think that if we stop people in the street, they do a survey, stop 10 people, I think they will tell you, oh, that's not so Jewish. It doesn't smell so Jewish. It's probably something we adopted from the Christians. However, listen to this. One of Rabbeinu Arishonim, the Rosh, the father of Baal HaTurim, father of the Tur, the Rosh has a perush on the Torah. And in this pasuk, in Vav, pasuk Beis, 6:2 in Parshat Bereshit, he explains why this word is missing. It's tet, bet, taf, instead of being tet, vav, bet, vav, taf. He brings the medrash. we don't have this medrash. But if the Rosh says something, apparently it appears in the medrash, and the medrash says there was actually one lady. That's why it says Toivos and Ksiv Chasir. It's missing to allude that it wasn't a lot of women. There was one, and she was very special, great looking, and the angels wanted to be with her. So they asked to be with her, and she said, wait a second, I see that you guys have wings. The Pasuk in Yeshaya says that the angels have 6 wings each. So she says to him, you know what? Fine. Give me your wings, and I'll be with you. So they quickly take their screwdrivers, they uninstall, they give her their wings, and she quickly installs their wings, and she flies away. She escapes the Avera, and she goes higher all the way up to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu was so impressed. You avoided the sin. You ran away. You fled from the sin. You're staying right here with me. And she was a Besula. She was a young lady. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, you're staying right here with me. And you're going to be the sign of the month of Elul. The Rosh doesn't explain why Elul, but I think it's clear. And Elul is the time that we have to run away from sinning. Ad kan hakofe aleph. This is what the Rosh says, but the Rosh continues. Now, if you're an angel and you're stuck down here on earth without wings, what do? You're stuck. How do you go back home? This is a vote you must remember until Yud Beis Bechislev. You have 2 months to remember this vote, not only for this Shabbos, but for 2 months from now. I think you can do it. And if not, maybe Simon is recording this year, you'll be able to go back to it. Why Yud Beis Bechislev? Because in Yud Beis Bechislev this year will be Shabbos Parshas Vayetze. What happens at the beginning of the Parsha? Yaakov Avinu goes to sleep, and in his dream he sees angels. Umalachei Elokim oilim veyodim boy, and the angels go up and down. Wait a second. What angels go up? Why are they climbing a ladder where they can fly? No, that's the angels who got stuck down here on earth from Parshat Bereshit until Parshat Vayetze because they had no wings, and they had to wait for the ladder of Yaakov Avinu to climb it and go back home. And that's just an amazing thing. So it applies both for Parshas Bereshit and for Parshas Vayetze. And if you want, you're even allowed to try and remember it for the future, for future Parshas as well. I just want to say a few words for what we just finished. A very special period, very exalted one, intense as well. And many ask, so what's going to be now? Where are we headed? A long, bitter winter. No holidays. What are we going to warm up with? The pasuk in Shir HaShirim. Perek Chet, Pasuk Gimel, the Pasuk says, Smoilo tachas roishi, veyeminoi techabkeni. His left hand is under my head. His right hand embraced me. What does that mean? Both the Gaon Mevilna and the Arizal explains, Smoilo tachas roishi, his left hand under my head, refers to Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Yemino techabkeni, his right hand embraced me. That refers to Sukkot. What's the connection between his right hand embraces me and the holiday of Sukkot? What happens when you embrace someone, when you do this move? You see that the arm is divided into 3 parts. It's made out of 3 parts. From your shoulder down to your elbow, that's one part. That's as if one wall of the sukkah. From your elbow down to your hand is another wall as if of the sukkah. When you embrace, you see it's very clear. It's 3 parts. And then you have the 3rd wall, your hand. For the 3rd wall to have a you need a small wall. You want tefach. So you have to use every small. Always refers to strict judgment, to din. And yamin, right, always alludes to rachamim. Smoilo sach achas roishi, his left hand is under my head, refers to Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, which are judgment days. Yamino techabkeni, the right hand embraces me. That's Sukkot. That's the days of love, the days of Simcha. But Shmini Atzeret, which we just finished, Simchas Torah, that had different pasuk. Again in Shir HaShirim, Perek Aleph, pasuk Vi'ani Hamelech Chadarav, Nagila v'nismecha bach. The king brought me to his chambers. Let us delight, rejoice in your love. Shmini Atzeret, Simchas Torah doesn't have special mitzvahs. On Sukkot, we sit in the sukkah. We shake the lulav. On Pesach, you eat the matzah. Every holiday has its special mitzvahs. What are the special mitzvahs of Simchas Torah? In Tehillim, Perekuf Yudches Chaf Dalet, we all know this pasuk. We repeat it again in Hallel, again and again. David HaMelech says, Ze hayom asa Hashem nagila v'nismecha voy. This is the day that Hashem made. We shall exalt and rejoice in it. in it. What does that mean in it? Nagila v'nismecha boy. Boy in what? This is a question Chazal asked in the Medrash and Shira Shirim Rabbah. Chazal asked, when it says Nagila v'nismecha boy, does it mean boy with a Kodesh Baruch Hu or bo bayom? Zeh hayom asa Hashem. This is the day Hashem made. We shall rejoice with the day, or we shall rejoice with Hashem, who has made it. David HaMelech didn't answer. But Shlomo, his son, he wrote the pasuk which we quoted before. Nagila v'nismecha bach. We will rejoice with you, HaKodesh Baruch Hu. Chazal say in the Medrash, Nagila v'nismecha bach. We will rejoice with you, HaKodesh Baruch Hu, with your salvation, with your Torah, with your yira, with your fear. And Rabbi Yitzchak explains, bach is the letters Beis and Chaf. Beis is 2. Chaf is 20. That's 22, alluding to the 22 letters of the Torah. How do you rejoice with the Torah? By hugging the Torah, by kissing the Sefer Torah, not when there is Corona. I'm not talking about this specific Corona holiday, but normally. You embrace and you kiss, you open the Sefer Torah, you're actually happy with the Kodesh Baruch Hu himself. What is this similar to? All the kids from one family came to join together with their father. They came from far away, and they're having a fantastic time. But after a few days, the father saw that kids look a little sad, and they asked him, why are you so sad? And they said, yes, we are sad. We passed a very long, hard way to come here, and now it's almost about to end. We're going to say goodbyes, and each one of us is going to go back to his place. And their father says, don't worry, we're not saying our goodbyes. I'm going to join you. You came to me, now I will come to you. My suitcases are already packed. I am coming to you. We went through a long journey, the days of introspection, Yemei Elul, the days of judgment, Rosh Hashanah, Aseres Yemei Tshuva, and Yom Kippur. Now, we were in Sukkot with great simcha, with the great Ushpizin, the Ushpizin HaKedoshim that came to our Sukkah. And in the Zohar HaKodesh, it says that the Shechina, HaKodesh Baruch Hu himself, is found in every schach of the Sukkahs of Klal Yisrael. So we were with HaKodesh Baruch Hu, and now this journey is about to end. It's hard to say goodbyes. Abba Shebashamayim, our father says, Kinderlach, my dear children, it's not going to end. We reached a peak of friendship, a peak of love during this holiday. But now I'm coming back with you, with each and every one of you. Nagila v'nismecha bach. We will rejoice with you with the 22 letters of the Torah. Take your Torah back home with you. Enjoy it, study it, and we'll always be together wherever you're going to open up. The Mishnah, the Gemara, the Michtav Me'Eliyahu, and you will learn, I will be there with you, says HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You came to my sukkah, I will come to your living room. Or any place you choose, even through Zoom and the computer, just open up the Torah and learn it. Study the holy words. In Sukkot, we sat with the Yoshpizim. In the Torah, we sit with the HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself. And that is what the Medrash says. Torah that we learn from Eliyahu Hanovi. Tana de Eliyahu in Parsha Yud Ches. Listen to a language of Chazal. Kol Talmid Chochem sheyoyshev beno leben atzmo vekoire veshoine. Anyone who sits and learns, even when he's by himself. HaKadosh Baruch Hu yoyshev kenegdoi vekoire veshoine imoy. HaKadosh Baruch Hu sits there right there in front of him and learns along with them. And the Medrash continues. And if this, not that this wouldn't be written, you wouldn't be allowed to say this. Capital punishment for one who says such a thing. But what can you do? Eliyahu Hanovi said this. Says HaKadosh Baruch Hu, don't be sad. We will always be together. This is what's going to warm us up in these coming months of the winter. But it's much more than that. There's no greater closeness, and as a result, no greater simcha than being with him, clinging to him through his Torah. Merit, fulfillment of this. V'nafshi tagil b'Hashem, tasis b'yeshuasoi. And my soul shall exalt in Hashem. It shall rejoice in His salvation. Maybe the secret is, if we will be with the Torah, learning the Torah, we will merit he explains, it brings from the Zohar HaKodesh that there are 4 galuyos. The first that we were we will be redeemed for the merit of Moshe Rabbeinu. But then he says something very frightening. Listen to a quote from the Zohar HaKodesh. However, he says, that is why the Galus is so long, because Ein Moshe Chafetz Ligol Am Batlani Min HaTorah. The Galus is so long because we don't engage sufficiently in Torah study. Moshe, on his part, is not willing to invoke his merit to redeem the people who continue to neglect the Torah. So for the merit of studying Torah, we will be redeemed. Where is that written in the Torah? Where is that written in the Torah? In Parshat Bereshit. It says, Uvnei Yisrael yotzim beyad Rama. Literally translated, and the children of Israel were marching out triumphantly. Great. But there's something else, a hidden secret here. Uvnei Yisrael, Klal Yisrael. Yotzim, do you want to get out? You want to finally get out of this galus? You should do this. The only way is beyad Rama. Yad is Rashi Tevos Yoredea. Rama is Reish Mem Hey. That is where you find the halachos of Talmud Torah. In Yoredea, that part of Shulchan Aruch. In Siman Reish Mem Hey is all the halachos of Talmud Torah. You want to get out of galus? It's through the study of Torah. So Barry, Joe, your sister, together with all this great chavura, you sit and learn, even though I'm sure you have many other things to do. And I know you do a lot of chesed, gemilus chesed, you help a lot of, maybe there's a few other things that you do, and yet you find the time to sit and learn. Emet Hashem, for that merit, the core of Mamish, we will see the salvation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I want to thank you for inviting me to be a part of this great endeavor. And Emet Hashem, you should always continue to go from Chayil al Chayil to finish many Sfarim. And then you'll come back, you'll call me again, and I'll test you on them, and you'll move to the next Sfarim. Emet Hashem, we should always be zoichet to learn together.